Katie, can you watch my kids
Nope.
tonight?
Sure, send them over, because once you have 3, it doesn't matter. Life as a mom, entrepreneur, wife, friend, and human is a lot. Join me, Katie Jacobs.
And me, Brandy Chandler, every Thursday as we have unfiltered, hilarious, and relatable conversations about the ups, the downs, and the chaos of it all.
Pour a glass and pull up a seat.
Because you're always welcome at our table. Hi, Katie.
Hey, Brandy.
I've missed you.
I missed you too.
You went on a trip, left me here.
To move?
Oh, girl.
You've been going through it.
Moving a family of 5 is interesting.
You did it slowly. You took a lot of loads over there.
Mm-hmm.
How was the moving day?
Moving day was easy because I had done all the little stuff, so it was just plug and play.
Good.
Which was fun. But it's just tiring, you
Yeah.
know, so many trips up and down stairs and carrying not that heavy stuff, but 80 boxes.
It's exhausting.
It really is. But we're in, we're happy, we're so close. It only took me like 15 minutes to get to you today.
Have you met all your neighbors yet?
A good many. We have a gang of boys that like to come every day.
Oh.
It's pretty sweet.
You got the sandlot going on. That's special.
It's fun.
I love that. Well, today, congrats on your move.
Thanks.
Today, we are talking about the help you need. It's perfect.
Is this just for me? It's like, Brandy, this is an intervention.
I did kind of shift gears last minute on you. I said, maybe we do this one. It just felt...
What was it? This was supposed to be bullying. And then the notes popped up and it was like, you need a therapist. You need a nanny. You need a housekeeper.
A mentor.
Just take it from me, Brandy. You need these things.
Well, and I have found it's really funny that whenever I feel like one person's going through something, everybody's going through it.
Yeah.
And in fact, my friend at our workout this morning was just like, I'm just like struggling. And it's like, I know, girl. We're all in it. So this feels like a good episode for us all. Why don't you?
We need the help.
We all need help. Can you kick it off by talking about your girl Annie and how you were inspired? Because I had a direction for this episode, and then I really loved the way that Annie framed her series.
Wasn't that great?
Yes.
So Annie F. Downs has a podcast called That Sounds Fun, which is wonderful. It's very Christian based, so a lot of her content is very, very Christian. And she did the series called Build Your Board, like an executive board.
Yes.
And it's people that can help and guide you, just like an executive board does. They make the big decisions with you. They offer you guidance. They help you plan. And so then she would do different episodes on different board members. So there was a health and fitness board member. There's a financial planning board member. There's a therapist counselor board member. There's a, church board member. I think there was even one on friends and friendships, because that's such an important thing in your life and for your mental health. And I just thought that was a very interesting concept, because it takes any shame or failure out of asking for someone's help and guidance and advice.
And the type A in me likes that organization.
Yes.
Right? I like that. I can see it. I can picture it. I can see those files in the filer of my life. And I like how tidy it is.
Well, and plus, you don't want to ask your gynecologist what to invest in. Like, you go to the people.
Your vagina is what they're going to tell you.
You need a tummy tuck. No, that's the plastic surgeon.
Yeah, wrong file folder, Brandy.
But, you go to the experts in that department for the advice. And I was really inspired by that. And it's an older series. So just Google Annie F. Downs, That Sounds Fun, Build Your Board, and you should be able to find most of them.
I struggled to find it that way.
Sorry.
I'll
link to her website,
because it's a little confusing. There's a lot
and her
she has
website
a lot of
page,
messaging,
she
so
has
it's a little
lot of extra resources too.
So we'll link you directly to the series,
and that's more specific than we're going to be.
Yes.
We're not that organized.
We're not that organized, y'all.
She did a whole series where we got 20 minutes.
We got a lot of kids between the two of us. So asking for help, I think in my experience and talking to friends and my personal experience, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. You are truly a turtle flipping on its back and going, all right, look at my underbelly. And I think that's where a lot of the fear comes from.
Yeah, I'm so bad at asking for help.
Is it because of that?
I just feel like I failed if I have to ask someone for help.
Oh, really? It's a failure thing
I'm
with you.
very independent. Like, I just like to do it all. And I already have a big family of moving parts. Like, to bring more people in sometimes just feels impossible. It feels easier to do it on my own. But I'm working on that.
Because I think it's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
That might be how it feels.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, I'm going to build a house today. And I've got my family. We're a crew of 5. I'm sure we can get this done. Okay. But then there's going to be all sorts of things that pop up and problems, and you're going to need the plumber and you're going to need the electrician. Like, you can't do it all.
Yeah.
And if you try and do it all, I think you get very overwhelmed. Just like if you were trying to build a house, it would become very, very overwhelming. Because if you don't have the right people in place to support you, you just can't do it on your own.
And there was one quote, and this was on Annie's podcast, and it came from her business coach episode. And he said, a good coach should be a disinterested party with nothing on their mind but you or your, problem you're coming to them with. And I think that's very helpful advice, because we're thinking about 8 gazillion things and this problem. But if you ask someone for help or advice, they're only thinking about that one thing and helping you solve that one thing. So they just can draw more energy and resources towards that.
This is why it's also important in terms of the board. People have a specialty. They have something they're good at. Like at work, I've got people that are good at something. And when I'm trying to do all the things, right, it becomes completely overwhelming.
Yes.
But if that one person is focusing on that one thing and can help make that department, whether it's your life, your business, your family, your mental health, then that is a win.
Yeah.
So having these people in your life who help you with one thing, having that sort of compartmentalization and specificity in what you need, I think is really important.
Yeah. And I think, what do you think about, like, are we talking about friends? Are we talking about professionals?
I think it's all. I think, I like the way that Annie broke it down, because I think it's like, and they all sort of have to work together, right? Like, go back to the board, right? The board, you have a CFO. He's the CFO, but if he's not talking to the CMO, then something's going to fail, right? Like, so they all, like, there has to be this sort of understanding and synergy. And that's you, I think. In what we're talking about, the board of your life, you are that conduit for all of these departments, right? But I think we're talking about whatever the person's need is. So let's say we have a listener right now and they're struggling maybe with some depression. And okay, well, maybe they need to speak with a counselor, but also maybe like fitness is part of it. Maybe they need to go on a nice long walk. I went over to borrow some herbs from a friend this weekend, and
Herbs?
Yeah, real herbs.
Okay. I don't believe you, but keep going.
Okay. But I went over and I could tell that they were having a tough day. And I said, hey, let's go on a walk. And we walked for...
And it feels so much better.
Oh my gosh, we just talked. And I don't even know, we talked a little bit about what was eating them up, but we just went on this nice long walk, and it's like when you get your body moving. So I'm saying that because I was a friend to her, but I also recognized that her body needed to move, right?
Yeah.
Like, we needed to get some of this energy out.
And her mind needed a distraction.
So I think, like, you might need someone for a counselor, but you also might need some fitness, because I find that when the brain is moving too quickly, when things are feeling, sometimes getting some of the energy out, like it almost
just
drains
go
your
for
brain.
that walk.
Go for a nice, it does not have to be something high impact. Just go for a nice long walk, stretch your legs. I saw some neighbors walking this morning in the rain and I was so jealous. It just looked so lovely. So yes, I don't think I think you have to recognize in answering your question, the different needs that you have and start to build your board based on your needs. Because listen, I can't hire all of these people.
I know. That's what I was getting at. I mean, we're not telling you. I don't have a staff.
I'm not Richard Branson. So I'm not Sarah
But
Blakely,
we can find some generous souls to help
Well,
us.
and you can also, if you need an evening to yourself, you can phone a friend. And I think that's where people feel like, oh my God, I'm putting somebody out. Your friends want to help you. If you need an evening just to go to the library and browse books, like, or to go have dinner with your husband, like, and you can't afford a sitter, like, see if you have a friend or family member that can help out, because just even stuff like that is paramount.
Katie, can you watch my kids tonight?
Nope. Sure, send them over, because once you have 3, it doesn't matter. We had a sleepover
I
last
just need
night.
a moment.
Girl, no, for real, send them over. I got you. Yeah, you and Josh, actually, for real though, because you guys probably need like some time in your house to like get settled without kids in the way.
We need some time.
Yeah, you do. So
I had a friend offer, it's a friend of ours, I'll tell you later. She's like, let me know if you need the kids to come over and spend the afternoon in the pool. I was like, can I come spend the afternoon in the pool?
can we reverse that?
These kids go swimming all the time.
Right?
It was very sweet.
You're like, great. So where's my
I was
invite?
totally jealous.
Whose pool is it? I want to go.
I have to tell you later.
I know who it is. I want to go. All right. So we were talking, though, about the vulnerability of it. And I would say, if I had to guess, 75% of people don't want to ask for help because it's vulnerable.
Yeah. You don't want to expose yourself. You don't want to seem weak.
You don't want to be perceived as weak. You don't want to expose potentially something that you might have been hiding close to the vest.
You don't want to be judged.
Yes.
It's hard.
Well, because there's also a flip side to that. And I have been vulnerable with people before and then had it thrown in my face.
Yeah.
And that is, it's a horrible feeling because it really makes you not trust to do it again. You know what I mean? Like it makes you not trust the process of asking for help. So you learn and I think most people do want to help, and you just have to learn if someone feels like maybe someone that might not be a great helper to potentially avoid.
Yeah. It takes some practice, some trial and error.
It does. I want to talk about the last time you reached out for help in a significant way.
I don't know if I remember.
You say that about everything.
I know.
You said that about the other topic.
If you ask me a question, my mind just goes blank. It's like, well, I hired movers. Josh and we have trailers. We are to fit people. We could have done this thing on our own. We did not need to.
You hired a mover.
We did, and we had to. Yeah, so we hired movers.
That's great.
You know, I reached out to our pastor when we had all of our life turned upside down last year.
Yep.
Because he truly was like a third party that didn't have a stake in this, you know, so he could definitely offer some advice without me feeling like he was biased to either party.
Okay.
What about you?
No, I like that. Even just hiring a mover, because you might try to do it on your own.
Yeah. Oh, we were so tempted. Do you know how
and
hard
Josh
it is
had
to pay
surgery
for something?
recently, so
He has a bum knee.
would not have been good.
I'm constantly tired and hot.
It would not. If your marriage made it through that move, I would be very proud of y'all.
So yeah, it's little things too.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that is an important thing to distinguish.
Mine, I felt when I was turning 40, I really had this like kind of true midlife crisis with my career and feeling very like I've been doing this a really long time, and am I going to do this for another 20 years? It's such a grind. Retail is such a grind. And I was feeling stuck, and I was like, I had experienced like some hurt from a couple of employees that I really trusted, that I brought in like family. And that was very difficult. The way that they sort of handled leaving my business. And I felt super betrayed. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go do something where I don't, you know, it's just hard. It's hard to like really pour into people and a place. And I just was feeling a little burnt out, if I'm being
almost
honest.
like disenchanted. And I think
Yes.
that's also very normal for being in a career for that long.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the 7-year itch
Yeah.
in a marriage. You've got to keep that spark alive. It's
Yeah.
very normal to kind of just lose your love of it.
And I think I was starting to ask, like, my skill set has grown so much and I'm such a different person, and where can these skills take me? So I reached out to a friend through COVID lockdown. I did one of my friends locally who is also a business owner. We had this wonderful group where we would meet every week via Zoom, and most of us, I think all of us, had careers. Most of us had children, and we would just like kind of do some work together. It was great. So I contacted the leader of that group, Jamie, and I said, we got on a call. I said, hey, I'm kind of in my head about some stuff. Can we get on a call? And she ended up mentoring me through this process of kind of like discovering the next thing. And it was really, really great. So I called her for help, and she mentored me, and it was really wonderful for sorting through the gobbledygook that was happening in my head. And we'd have these phone calls, and I was like, you know, and she's like, okay, all right. So here's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, wow, this is a wonderful little filter. You know, we're just catching all the bad stuff and letting the good come through. And because oftentimes with these,
There's just so much
There's so
going
much-
through your head.
there's so much that's just not, it's waste. It's not
And
helpful.
you can't make heads or tails, you know, like what's the important
That's exactly right.
here.
So that was when I asked for help in a very big way. And it was wonderful.
Good.
It was wonderful and helpful.
So proud of you. Such a big girl.
Oh, thanks. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors: On Trend Creative Studio, Golden Pantry, Christian Roofing and Remodeling, LT Swimwear, Perry Anders Studio, Ritual Spa, and Cheeky Peach. We are so grateful for your support, and listeners, please go give them some love. It's a wonderful way to support the podcast. Another great way to keep our episodes flowing is by subscribing, rating, and reviewing. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or you're watching us on YouTube, these are all wonderful ways to give your support. And don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram at Podcast She Did What. I had a friend come through, this was a great episode, through the store a couple days ago with her child who is entering the workforce, and she's teaching her child how to get a job.
Yeah.
And I loved that. It's like, I'm going to show you how this is done. I'm going to show you how you go in, you shake hands after you have sent the email and the resume that looks beautiful. And I was so impressed. I just thought that was so great. She was giving her child the help they needed. So that help also can just be a small act of showing someone the way. It's not always a tell. It can also be a show.
And sometimes just the listening, you know, just having someone to listen. And like you said, even if it's not a professional in that area, just a friend. And they're like, well, this is what I'm hearing you say.
Right.
And they might highlight something you weren't quite picking up because there's so much going through your head.
That's also the thing about asking for help is sometimes when you say something out loud, it's very different than the tape that's playing in your brain.
Yes.
So that can also just be really helpful in and of itself, is the speaking of it, of the problem or the thing that's ailing you or troubling you, and then helping get to a solution.
And I think a lot of this, of asking for help and just talking, I don't think we were made to be solitary creatures. We were made to be in community with other people and to have help from other people.
Yes.
And that's hard for me to deal with because I'm the independent. I like to just do things on my own. But I have to remember, like, I don't think I was made to be alone. I was made to be in community and draw from that.
I'm working really hard to have visits with people, not these big plans, but like visits. I find I get some anxiety or just some, I wouldn't say anxiety because I feel like that word is overused, some trepidation, You know, it's like, oh, I should have this person over for coffee. Oh, well, then my kids are going to be home and then and I might want to clean and I probably need to and I need to grocery shop and you find a million reasons why you can't just have someone over for a cup of coffee. It just feeds my soul in such a great way. Just having an hour conversation with a friend that's not overly planned. It's not a huge expensive dinner. It's not, it's just a quick visit.
And I've found that, like, if you ask me to do something 3 weeks in advance, it's just, in my mind, I'm thinking all the things I have to get done to be able to make that happen. But if you call me an hour before and you're like, meet me here, let's have a glass of wine. It's so much easier.
Yeah, exactly.
What is up with that?
I don't know. I think we are all over planned and over scheduled.
Yeah.
And it's just like everything that's over planned and over scheduled feels like a to-do list, and it doesn't feel necessarily fun
that's
or
what
light.
it is.
Yeah.
Like when someone asks me that far in advance, I'm just like, that's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Like, because you just feel automatically
It almost
the
needs-
heaviness of how to get that done.
Yeah. It feels like a to-do, not a for fun.
Yeah.
I was, I have to burp. Why do I always have to burp?
So nice.
Sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Carly. Okay. I do not eat broccoli for breakfast.
You don't have to tell me twice.
I was thinking about my grandparents. They used to, with the visiting they used to have.
The afternoon visit.
So my grandparents on Christmas Eve would have anyone who wanted to pop by for a cocktail.
Oh.
And we started calling it the old Montana pop-in because they lived in Montana. And they would have people pop in all the time.
We should do
the old Montana
should be our
pop-in.
live event.
They just had people pop in. You would just be sitting there in the morning in your jammies and suddenly Tom's walking in the door. Hey, and then you sit there with Tom. I'm like, I'm not even sure I've brushed my teeth.
Tom's riding his horse in. This is Montana.
He's
Katie.
he had a half wolf, half dog. Tom is a literal cowboy. So anyway, I say that, but it was always lovely.
Yeah.
It was never like, I don't think there was one time someone popped in that I was like, this is very inconvenient.
Well,
it was just like, it was kind of nice.
People would just come over and stay for hours.
just hang.
And they would just sit and talk.
Just a little pop in.
She wouldn't do the laundry. She wouldn't be on her laptop trying to send 3 emails real quick.
No.
We need to get back to
making
that.
a pot of coffee, and is this why they all had coffee cake
Just
all the time?
sitting there.
Is this why they always had coffee cake? Oh my God. I'm putting it all together.
We were like sweet tea and cookies people.
This is why my grandparents always had coffee cake. Always. One of those like
I like coffee cake.
Sara Lee's. That's why people were always popping in. You had to have some coffee cake.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at a coffee cake. Now I'm hungry.
We are so off topic. On topic,
Yum.
off topic
No,
right now.
but it's true.
Yeah, we need to do that.
I think we have to, as a society, start popping in.
Let's pop it.
I'm going to pop in on you. You're going to freak out.
I'm gonna.
What are you doing
I
here?
said I like the pop in because then I can't come up with excuses. That's the
but
only
I've,
way to
like,
get me to do something.
Have you ever popped in on someone and just had them be horrified?
No, I don't think so. I don't pop in a lot.
Our old neighbors, when we moved in across the street from each other, and they're like our best friends, they're like, hey, if you ever see the cocktail flag flying, it means come on over for a cocktail.
Oh.
So we were like, what a brilliant idea. It's just like this little stake in the ground. So one day, it's like a Saturday evening or whatever, and we like got home from parties and, kid parties and all this stuff, and cocktail flags out. We're like, should we do it? Should we just we didn't know them super well at the time. So we were like, let's walk up. We walk in on a full family birthday party.
Well, the flag was up.
Well, they'd put the flag out for like their family as a kind of like a ha ha. And nope, we popped in and it was very awkward. Not awkward, but they were like, hi, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, the flag. Oh, this is like a full family birthday party. You do not want us to be a
that's
part
not
of.
your fault.
But like I'm talking like sisters from out of town were in. It was
but
not.
the flag was up.
So anyway, I was a little more trepidatious to pop in after that. But now they're like very good friends and I would pop in right now.
So I am very leery of all these coaches
Yeah.
that are on the internet now, on Instagram, offering for you to buy their packet of coaching services. and none of them have done anything.
Yeah.
They're
This is
just,
a big,
I feel like they're just making a quick buck because people buy this stuff because they're so desperate for some help.
this is a really big business. And I think it's always been around. Remember Cleo, Lady Cleo?
No. Who's Lady Cleo?
She was the psychic.
Oh.
The 1-800 number
yeah.
psychic.
Yeah.
Lady Cleo could solve all your problems.
I thought you were talking about a real, like, business coach.
No, she was not a business coach, but she took a lot of people's money.
Yeah, it just I need
wonder where she is
someone with authority and a background and proven results or something.
Malcolm
I can't.
Gladwell says you need, I think it's like 20,000 hours to be considered an expert in
Yeah,
anything.
I need this.
And I think that's super important. Like I feel like pretty expert in retail.
Yeah.
Because I've got those hours.
Yeah, but how many people opened
For
a boutique
10,000 hours
last
or
year
something.
and they're like, "Oh, buy my guide on how to open your boutique." It's like
Right.
you've been in business for 1 year.
No, there's a ton of that. There is a ton of that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because that wisdom of experience is so important for understanding the pitfalls, because you can certainly open a boutique and then tell someone how to do it, but you could have really screwed some things up and you just haven't figured that out yet because the culling of the herd has not happened yet, or whatever has
Yes.
not, or the way that you set things up has not come back to bite you in the ass from the IRS yet.
Yeah.
Like there's so many ways things can go wrong.
Yeah.
And I think from a coach's standpoint, they're not coaching you on how to do it right. They're helping you avoid the pitfalls of how to do it wrong. I mean, they are coaching you on how to do it right,
and
but that's part of
anybody
it.
can just say, I mean, you can Google the steps to open a business. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you and be the best for you and set you up for success, but it'll get it done, you know? And I'm almost like, who's falling for this? But obviously people are falling for this, or these things wouldn't exist.
I think a lot of folks that are starting out, that are starting in, and I think you're preying on people's nerves.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
and
fierce.
Their fears and their dreams. And, you know, I would say to anybody who's looking into business coaching, and it's really interesting. So I will only work with like, in terms of like coaching, and I think this needs to be for therapy too, or any kind of counseling. It's like, I need someone who's older than me, but also who has had children.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's very important for me in terms of I need someone who has fallen down on their face a lot.
I think it's so important to gain advice from people that have already done it and like put it behind them and reflected on it.
That's right.
Like almost retired from that situation, because then you have that hindsight. That is such a value add.
Exactly.
The hindsight. I mean, think about all the things we've done. I'd only known that.
Right.
You know, it's so valuable. So I think having someone that's done that experience, locked it up, threw it in their past is like the gold.
Yeah.
Like that's as good as you can get sometimes.
That's the gold mine,
Yeah,
for sure.
it really is.
That's
a
the wealth
very-
of knowledge. And I think we don't place enough value on that.
Yeah.
It's every hot young person as a coach. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, I want someone who has.
I want the person like sitting in retirement and they have that whole picture laid out.
That's exactly
And they can
right.
see their start to their finish and, you know, give me the whole, this is how it all worked or didn't work, you know, but they have that complete knowledge. Oh man, I'm going to go find somebody like that.
When Jamie and I were working together, and she's actually, I think, going to be having a retreat in October that I'm gonna try and go on. When we were working together, she has this like really hippie, like beautiful side, and then she'll just drop some like fucking Fortune 500 knowledge on you, and you're like,
But that's the best, you know,
it was
the
the
blending.
coolest blend, because I think that's my brain. Like, I really have this like, you know, this kind of like
And we're
woo-woo.
all like that. We're so
but then
faceted.
like boom, like drop
Yeah.
some knowledge on me, baby.
It's the
It
best.
was so wonderful. She's the person I need for that type of mentoring and direction.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of value too to place in your friend set. So, you want friends that are kind of on the same path and doing the same thing. The friends you're like in touch with all the time, because you are your friends, you're a reflection of each other. So if your friend is just sitting on the couch and you want to be, having this successful career, you might not need to hang out with them every day because they're going to try to bring you to the couch with them.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I think it's really about, is that person, I'm going to disagree with you here. I'm going to say it's about, is this person supportive?
Well, yeah, support's
because not
one thing.
everybody wants, listen, I'm a super hyper ambitious person. Not everybody wants that.
Yeah.
Some people are real happy not having overly ambitious lives. It doesn't mean we can't support each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, I think you have to, what you have to be aware of is the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh.
I think you have to be aware of the person who is pretending like they're a support system, but will rip off that mask the minute they're intimidated by you, or the moment that they're jealous of you, or the moment that you reach an accomplishment and suddenly that support falls away. That's the person you need to be aware of.
That's a good one, Katie. Beware.
Beware of the wolf,
This has been great.
Yeah. I think it's been really good.
I support you.
I support you too.
No, I think this is important. And I love the concept of making it a board for your life.
Can we work through those things one more time? I just want to wrap this up in a tidy bow and close the practice for our people. So I want you to listen to these, listeners, and think like, where's somewhere that I could really use some help? Counselor, therapist, business coach, life coach, spiritual advisor, financial advisor, personal trainer, health coach, mentor, personal assistant, house manager,
Nanny,
babysitter or nanny,
masseuse.
Can I speak really quickly? A health coach or personal trainer can be a friend who's into fitness.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say any of these could be.
Like, hey, could you come walk with me sometime? Someone who's more fit than you.
Yeah.
And that, when you're talking about someone who's going to lift you up, a friend, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I thought you'd never ask.
Yes.
Like, please, can
they
I come?
Want to you to
want
join
to
them in
help
what they
you.
love.
The other thing to be aware of, if you are younger and looking for a financial planner, there are a lot of folks who are trying to sell you insurance that call themselves they are financial planners, but they're also selling insurance, and these can be kind of two different things, but they sound this. It can be a little gimmicky in the same way. Do you know what I mean, Brandy? Yeah. So if you're looking for a financial planner, let's say you're starting to think about retirement, just be really careful about not getting oversold things you don't need.
Yeah. And sometimes just an accountant can help you with some of that.
That's exactly
as well.
right. And there's so many resources, especially for women, in investing and starting to think about other ways to make your income grow while you sleep. So there's a lot of resources that are wonderful for younger people. But just if you're looking, I remember when we started to see a little bit of profit in the business, we started looking at financial advisors, and that was something that did come up.
Yeah.
So, well, this was wonderful.
I think this is so nice. It really inspired me to ask for more help.
I hope so. Will you report back?
Because you need it, Brandy.
No.
I can't wait to see the results of your help.
We all need help. It's the human experience.
We do. All right, you guys.
Well,
go get the help you need.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us at our table. We're so happy you're here.
Yeah, give us a like, a follow, subscribe, a review. We love it all.
Yeah, and if you share your favorite episode with 5 friends, every little bit helps for us to continue making these wonderful episodes.
We love it. Let us know if you want us to talk about anything.
Yep, holler at us.
Okay. All right. See you next time.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed our conversation and can't wait to share another episode with you next Thursday.
Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. To keep up with the latest, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Podcast She Did What. We'll be sharing updates, behind the scenes, and announcements you won't want to miss.
And if there's anything you'd like to share with us, whether it be a personal story or feedback on our episodes, you can leave us a voicemail at 762-499-2201 or head over to our website, shedidwhatpodcast.com. Also, feel free to leave us a review down below. We'd love to know what you think.
She Did What is hosted by us, Brandy Chandler and Katie Jacobs, and produced by Studio D Podcast Production.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next Thursday. And remember, it isn't always easy, but it sure as hell can be entertaining.